Welcome to my presentation concerning South Carolina Federal Credit Union and our Needs Assessment Report for Stakeholders. My name is Holly Williams and I'll be talking to you today about issues relating to the consumer lending process within South Carolina Federal Credit Union and how we can address those issues to find a viable solution. The South Carolina Federal Credit Union processes transactions such as standard deposits and withdrawals. However, the focus is mainly on consumer lending. According to the South Carolina Credit Union website, as credit unions are non-profit organizations, they are expected to be efficient with money and resources because there are no shareholders to aid in outside funding. We believe that the current consumer lending process is not being as efficient as it could be in the use of those resources. So what's the business issue? Well, after completing a needs assessment, collecting data via a survey, and analysing the results, we found that the consumer loan application process is problematic for a number of reasons. The biggest issue is in the process involved in the loan process from application to closing. This creates challenges which we will examine throughout this presentation. The current process sees a financial sales representative taking the loan application and working closely with the customer or member, communicating with those applicants throughout and preparing the loan for closing. They are not permitted to close the loan on their own. In order to close the loan, the financial sales representative must transfer the customer or member to a financial support representative, who is taken from the teller line in order to become up to date on the application and then close the loan. Well, why is this a problem? Listed here are just a few reasons as to why this is problematic for the organization. Firstly, it creates confusion for the applicant. They are working with one employee, have likely answered a number of questions and built rapport with that employee, only to then be transferred to another employee who is typically busy on the teller line and will likely have to answer the same questions again with this new employee. Secondly, taking the financial support representative away from the teller line, which may be busy, will result in a short-staffed teller line, customers having longer wait times to complete simple transactions, and will also create a longer wait time for the consumer loan applicants. These issues overall create the potential for errors from employees not having the same basic knowledge or training on the consumer lending policies. The whole process also makes the financial sales representative look incompetent to the consumer loan applicant because they are unable to close the loan that they started. So who then is affected? This issue affects the customer, whether they are waiting in line for the tellers or whether they are waiting to have their loan closed. It affects the financial sales representative because they cannot close the loan on their own time. They look incompetent to the customers and they have to wait on a financial sales representative to become available. It affects the financial support representative because they have to leave the teller line to quickly read the loan application and take care of the customer in the closing of their loan. Overall, it affects the company because the process is inefficient and is making poor use of resources, both from the viewpoint of the financial sales representatives and from the viewpoint of the financial support representatives. Within the survey, we asked a number of demographic questions, such as age range, length of employment service with the credit union, and position within the company. We found that the majority of respondents were aged between 21 and 44 and had worked at the company for between 1 and 5 years. All positions were represented in our survey, which enabled us better accuracy of information based on open-ended response questions concerning opinions of the process. The survey also asked respondents to complete a Likert scale rating based on their satisfaction of the consumer lending process. The majority of respondents felt that the consumer loan process was flawed, both in the process itself and in the training provided to each employment position on lending policies and processes. Throughout the open response section of the survey, we noticed responses that confirmed the hypothesis that the consumer loan process was ineffective and misused resources within the company. The majority of respondents noted that customers were unable to get a loan closed in a timely manner during busy periods. that there was a lack of knowledge of the lending process from an employee viewpoint, that there was a lack of time to complete the loan closing. Respondents also noted that there was too much back and forth between employees, which slowed down the process further to the customer. The process was inefficient, and that the financial sales representative could likely close the loan faster because they had an intimate knowledge of the consumer and their application. One respondent even noted that customers should only deal with one employee, as that would look better for the company overall and make the company and its employees appear competent in their knowledge and skills. Overall, the survey respondents agreed that the consumer loan process is flawed, inefficient, and unnecessarily time-consuming. There is a gap in knowledge, which training could solve, for the financial sales representatives in relation to the loan processes and lending processes. We believe training, along with a change in policy, would be viable solutions to alleviate these concerns. The big question here is how you can help as stakeholders. In order to alleviate this business issue, we need you to help us provide training to financial sales representatives on loan closing and lending processes. We need you to change the process to allow financial sales representatives to close their own loans within their own schedules, and change the process to allow financial support representatives to remain on the teller line. Training as a solution would work well for this particular business issue because the survey results and analysis of those results show that training is what the employees most want from this process. Training can be used to close the gap of knowledge for financial sales representatives so they can close their own loans and eliminate the need to use a financial support representative, therefore keep them on the teller line where they are most needed as a resource. Training the financial sales representatives in this way will free up financial support representatives to stay on the teller line. In busy periods, this means shorter wait times for customers who have more basic transactional needs, and alleviating stress associated with being pulled too thin with extra responsibilities than that are necessary. In order for the training to alleviate the business issue, changing the customer lending process also needs to happen. This will allow the financial sales representatives to close their own loans, which in turn will look better for the company, alleviate long teller lines, alleviate customers being passed from employee to employee, and save time for the employees, the customer, and the company. As a backup solution, we believe it would be an efficient use of company resources to equally train financial support representatives to aid in transparency and catch any errors. These employees can be utilized as backup employees within the process as needed. Communication is a vital piece to any successful change in policy and addition of training programs. We need to create an environment of better communication between employees, customers, and upper-level management. This will allow for transparency of process and also allow upper-level management, as well as stakeholders, to be aware of their processes and issues that affect the efficiency of those processes. That way, we can work together to create solutions before there is a bigger issue and contain any inefficiencies within the processes. There are many potential outcomes of training as a solution to this particular business issue. We hope to see more satisfied employees, more satisfied customers, shorter wait times for customers, either those who are waiting for a loan to close or those who are waiting in the teller line. We also hope to see more knowledgeable financial sales representatives, which in turn will have a positive effect on consumer satisfaction, an overall better process and training that will benefit the company in the long term. I would love to hear any questions that may have arisen as a result of the presentation. Please feel free to share those with me in any way you see fit. Thank you for watching my presentation on the South Carolina Federal Credit Union as it relates to issues with the consumer lending process.